Well, let's go back now to our RSI strategy and review a more realistic example of a strategy that's set up for fully automated trading. And again, we can see here we have some charts. This chart here is the pound dollar in blue, the close price midpoint, and then RSI is this orange line on the chart overlaid together. We can see the pound dollar rate on the left hand side, the y-axis there, and then the y-axis on the right hand side is the RSI. Down below we have a chart that's actually not used in the strategy itself, but it's just an interesting decision support tool, simply calculated on this other worksheet, various changes in the price over different time horizons, 8 different time horizons in fact, and then added those values to this bar chart, and we can now see where the turning points are as we go from the change in price from 1 minute all the way up to 1 day. And it's just an example of the kinds of custom visualizations that you can build on data that updates in real time within FXone. We can see here also in column I, we've got our RSI indicator, which is what this strategy is based on. We've got all of its values over time, the very top one being the most recent value. We can see that we're in sort of a very strong overbought condition here with a value of 83. Typical overbought condition for RSI being at 70, so we're way up there. And here's an example of what we consider to be best practices for setting up a strategy. We have a table of information here that is really just parameters that are used. They're labeled. So here's the number of periods used in the RSI calculation is 14. We've got, in this case, this particular example has an SMA of the RSI value, so you can smooth that RSI value if you like to. The buy signal level, sell signal level, again, 30 and 70 being typical oversold, overbought levels. You just simply change these values in order to immediately get the effect of that on your trading signals and your trading activity. So this gives you a convenient way to do that without having to shut anything down, without having to change code, without having to recompile. You have all of these parameters that you can change. Similarly with the buy profit, buy stop, sell profit, sell stop, and then the amount fields. These are all fields that you can just change. And the trading parameter templates down below are reading from some of those parameters. So for instance, in the previous example, we left out the stop and limit portion of the trading parameter template. Here we have it in, and we can see that the stop rate and the limit rates here are, if we look in the formula bar, reading off of our parameters up above in that table. So we have a nice neat place to manage all of the parameters of this strategy. Same thing for the sell entry side. This field here, stop limit type, we're using peg stop close and peg limit close, and full details on this is available within the documentation, the permissible values here. This is a particular type of stop and limit that uses the price that the order is opened at and then sets the stops and limits a fixed number of pips from that point. And there are other methods that can also be selected. In this example, what we've done is we've set up a separate formula for the oversold and overbought conditions. Again, it's just a very simple formula that just out of personal preference, when the condition is met, it prints buy when you're in an oversold state, prints sell over here when you're in an overbought state, and then the formula below it that actually calls the trading parameter template is just looking at that cell above it to see if it says buy, and then calling buy entry, or in this case to see if it says sell, and then calling sell entry. So this is, again, is just personal preference, a little more bit of a visual aspect and seeing whether you're in a buy or a sell state. And then up above that, there's a summary table where we see values like day P&L, and these are values that update in real time. In fact, if we were to go, let's turn automated trading on for this strategy, and we now did that sell trade, and we can also click over to the orders side and see that here is our stop and limit order that were automatically placed as a result of using stops and limits in that, in this one here on the sell side, in that trading parameter template. And in fact, what we did here is we used an open market, so we have immediately opened a sell position with a stop and a limit attached to it. And if we go up now, we can see that our position for the pound dollar is short 10,000, which is the amount that we sold short. And we can see our sell P&L is a changing number, slightly negative there, and that will continue to update in real time. And again, when we click in those cells like sell P&L, we see we're using FXone custom functions like pause, which let us specify for any given symbol all of the available values from the broker's system. In this case, sell net P&L is the value that we're seeking, and so that we're pulling that in real time, and we're able to see that here not only for visual purposes. We can also get obviously P&L down here and see what our P&L is in that position or what our P&L is in the whole account. But by being able to pull it into the strategy, we're now able to use it in more sophisticated logic. We can check those values and use that as part of our conditionalizing our strategy for doing trades. Well, that about wraps up our demonstration. I hope that that has been informative. Remember that FXone is completely free for users with live trading accounts at a supported broker. For more information about obtaining your copy, please contact sales@fxone.com. That's sales@fxone.com. Thank you for your time.